You may remember a video I did on a 4-alarm talking watch. I had to return it because not long after I made that video, the talking button had started to stick. So I exchanged it first of all to see if a second unit wouldn't do something, right? It did something all right. Within 36 hours, all 4 buttons, well, not all 4, but 3 of the 4 buttons were sticking. It's probably only a matter of time before the 4th one did. So I went ahead, asked for a refund, plunged that and about an additional 20 down, and went ahead and ordered this. This is a digital talking atomic watch. Now you're probably thinking, well, what's so special about that? Well, what needs to be understood is all of the atomics up until this point have been analog. This is the first digital that there is. The problem with the analog talking atomic watches is the hands need to synchronize to the voice. And that's not so bad when you get the watch. But when you change time zones, for example, because for those of you who do not know how a radio control watch works, it receives a signal every evening from WWVB here in the United States and sets itself to the nation's atomic clock, which is accurate to 1 second within every 1 million years. So this watch is extremely accurate. As long as it gets a signal every night, it'll never be off. The analogs work that way too, except that what happens is they have to move hands around to adjust to the appropriate time, and when you change time zones, that can take as long as 15 to 20 minutes. And unfortunately, the watch, you cannot do anything with it. So if you're entirely blind, you may think, the very first time, for example, you may think that the watch is broken or something. What's even more critical, though, is when it comes time to replace the battery. And I know this because an uncle of mine happens to have one of the talking atomics. And I happen to know this myself because I have, for those of you who haven't seen it, my 2009 Talking Atomic Watch video review, that watch is about to lose battery power completely, probably within the next month or two, as long as I don't disturb it. If I do disturb it, it'll probably be a couple weeks. Anyway, that watch has gotten to the point where the second hand literally has to freeze in order to tell me what time it is audibly. So what happens then is the face time is out of sync from the voice by at least 20 minutes. It's not a good sign. When you replace the battery, if you do not do this procedure immediately, then the hands will not synchronize either. And that procedure is, in a nutshell, without going into details, you have to push a button to stop the hands, then you need to manually adjust all the hands until all 3 of them, literally all 3 of them, including the second hand, are pointing at midnight. So if you're entirely blind, that'll more than likely require sighted assistance. This one, on the other hand, no need to worry about that. In fact, if you put the new battery in, all you have to do is set the time zone, stick it in a window, you're good to go. This watch has 4 buttons on it. Going clockwise, S1 at 2 o'clock, S2 at 4 o'clock, S4 at 8 o'clock, and S3 at 10 o'clock. So, the top 2 buttons are S1 and S3 are your odd-numbered buttons. Your even-numbered buttons 2 and 4 are down here at the 4 o'clock for S2, 8 o'clock for S4. And the best way to think about this is your odd-numbered buttons, S1 and S3, are used to get information. And I'll demonstrate that in a moment. S2 and S4 are used to manipulate information, to set the watch. So if I push S1, your 2 o'clock button, once,
the time is 5:27 p.m.
and if you can see there are seconds ticking away on the top, press it again.
Today is Tuesday, September 10, year 2013.
So it'll show the date, and again, this is the S1, your 2 o'clock button.
USA time updated.
And a third press will tell you USA time update. Remember, I mentioned this is a radio control watch. For those of you who can see, you may be able to see a little signal tower down in the bottom right of the display. Audibly, that's how you get your signal update status. As long as you hear that, USA time updated, you know that the watch was able to get a signal overnight. Now, that was S1. Remember I told you S1 and S3 get you information. So what does S3 do? If we push S3, and that's all that S3 does. So let's manipulate some information. First of all, there's one little trick here. This watch does not have an hourly report, okay? So if an hourly report's something important to you, then you'll have to look at another model. What it does have in its place, though, if I press S2, which is again your 4 o'clock, for those of you who can see a little soft blue backlight. That's on for about 3 seconds. Very, very nice. Because I do have some usable vision, and I consider this to be one of the greatest features. This is the only talking watch. Not only is it the only digital atomic, well, not the only digital atomic, there's one more style, but it's the only talking watch to have a backlight. That is huge. So if we push S2, we push and hold S2, okay, what does that mean? Radio-controlled watch, again, it sets itself. This watch will synchronize with the WWVB signal that it receives every night from Colorado in the United States. However, if you like to travel abroad, you want to see the world, this watch will also synchronize to the United Kingdom, Germany, and Japan, although Japan, it'll only synchronize to the 60 kilohertz signal, not the 40. So if we press S2, our 4 o'clock again, manual time setting, and if you were to adjust that, if you wanted to adjust that, you push your 2 o'clock S1, but we're not going to. Now, you may have noticed the watch didn't say anything. If it didn't say anything, then that means it's returned to the normal time display. When you push the button, if it doesn't say anything, it's now displaying regular time. So that's how you manipulate the time settings. What about the alarm? Well, with the alarm, you actually have to switch over to the other side of the watch. Think of it as dividing the watch up into halves. Your right half, which is your 2 and 4 o'clock buttons, your S1 and S3, manipulate time-related features. Your left-hand side of the watch, your 10 and 8 o'clock, your S2 and S4, I'm sorry, S3 and S4. Did I say S1 and S3? I'm sorry, S1 and S2. Yeah, S1 and S2 are your time manipulators. S3 and S4, your 10 and 8 o'clock, those manipulate your alarm. So we push, we don't push and hold this time, we just push, your 8 o'clock, your S4. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that right now. We're going to make changes to the alarm. So we'll press S3, 10 o'clock. So you push your 10 o'clock S3, which, by the way, once you do that, it automatically turns the alarm on. For those of you who can see, you can see a little icon appear just above the 2. It looks like a little bell. Now, for those of you who are wondering, you can't push and hold the button either. You just have to do rapid presses like that because you can't push and hold. So we're going to push S4 to confirm our 8 o'clock. So what if you wanted to just turn the alarm on and off? You don't want to set it. Well, you push your 8 o'clock S4 twice. Now, if you can see, you probably can see a flashing on. So if I push S3, whoops. So we're going to push S3 and confirm. So that's basically it. Like I said, this is a global watch, so if you travel abroad, you can travel to the UK, Germany, and Japan and pick up the signals from those atomic clocks. I love this watch. I love the voice. I love the little backlight here. For those of you who cannot see, the best way to get a signal is to have the watch face down with the band facing up. For those of you who can see, you can see the styling of this back. If you're familiar with other talking atomic watches, the design on this one's a little bit different. But, no, this is it. Basically, again, if you want to get this watch, go to Maxi Aids. I'm sorry, this is the second time I've done this video, and I'm trying to remember what I've said and what I've not said. Go to MaxiAids.com, and it'll be right on the first page, roughly about halfway down. You really, really should order through Maxi Aids, because if you do not, you're going to end up paying about twice what I did. So I paid $40, not including tax and handling. With it, it came to about $50. However, most places are selling this thing for, aside from Maxi, are selling this thing for close to $60, and that's because it is so new. Maxi only started carrying it back at the beginning of the summer, and Sight Connection literally just started carrying it. So it is brand new. There's a second one, there's a second design, sort of a more sporty, but around the bezel here, it's got this 12, this is a 60, 10, 20, 30, 40, whatchamacallit that a lot of sport watches do, that have. I don't like it. I don't like that at all. But this honestly looks like something out of Star Trek or another science fiction franchise. But no, like I said, this is the only digital talking watch with a backlight, and this is one of very few talking digital atomic watches. There's this one, there's that sporty one that I mentioned, and there's a third one that has a yellow band around this area here where my fingers are, and has a rubber band as opposed to a plastic one. And that one, I believe, is sold primarily in the United Kingdom. From what I understand, though, I don't know if it's a global watch or not. This one is. So yeah, if anybody has any questions about this particular watch or comments in general, feel free to leave them. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.